Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamerspro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Was a very, very fun night in the association. As you know, the day before was election day, so there were no games in the NBA. But yesterday, the NBA resumed its games. And actually, there were two games that came on pretty close to the same time. The first game was between the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics. So I was watching that game, but there was also the Lakers-Memphis game, which I was very, very interested in. Now, going into that game, the Lakers were on a one-game losing streak, right? They weren't doing pretty well. They weren't doing very well on the road. As a matter of fact, they'd only won one road game this season. They started off extremely hot at home, winning their first three games at home, and now they've been on the road. They beat the Toronto Raptors, but they ended up losing to the Detroit Pistons, and I can't remember the other team that they beat. So going into yesterday's game, we got the news that Anthony Davis wasn't going to be available, and some people were like, "Oh man, AD ain't gonna be there, man. Oh. I ain't watching the game, and da-da-da. It's unfair. It's unfair. It's unfair." Forgetting the fact that the Memphis Grizzlies were without their best perimeter defender, Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. Desmond Baines wasn't even playing as well, right? But Ja Morant was going to be playing. But you could see dudes was already building in the excuses. So I was watching the game. And if you know anything about a Ja Morant game, there's going to be a lot of disrespect. There's going to be a lot of competitiveness going on. And it was no different last night. And I was watching the game. At one point, the Lakers kind of cut the lead to like 2 points, and it looked like a competitive game. And then it went into that third quarter, or that second half. And that's when Ja Morant and LeBron started going at each other. And Ja Morant did like a move. And I think he got like the N1 on the Lakers player. What's the dude's name? Let me get his name right. His name is Gabe Vincent. So he hit the N1 on him, and he did the too small sign. And I think a play or two later, LeBron then comes back and posts Ja Morant, and then it could have been an offensive foul, and then he scores a bucket. And then LeBron does the too small thing to Ja Morant, but he touches the floor, right? So Ja Morant took it a kind of way, and he went down the court, he scored, and then he tried to he scored, and then he bumped into LeBron James. He bumped into LeBron, and they were talking their smack. And at the end of the game, they interviewed Ja Morant in a post-game interview to get his thoughts on what happened, and Ja Morant kept it 100% funky on his feelings about the Lakers and LeBron. So before you go any further, take a listen to what they had to say there, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Ja here.
What is it about this Lakers team? I
don't like them. They knocked me out of the playoffs. And then last year we had a game, and they came in here and popped it on our home floor when I was in street clothes. So I wasn't a night.
Has tonight kind of been building
Nah. He was just next on the schedule. Lakers, actually. I won't even say him, Lakers. And then, they beat us last time. I didn't get to play, like I said, last year. They came on our home floor, beat us on our home floor, was laughing, playing, looking at me, talking. My message was I was in street clothes. This is my first opportunity to get back on the floor playing against them. I bring first, whoever. Then the situation happened, which pretty much got me going.
So you heard what Ja Morant had to say there. And as a matter of fact, we want to put up the thumbnail of, of Ja Morant, after the game. Ja then put out a post, and I'm going to share from Bleacher Report. And I think they were reacting to something like Bron said too small. And we're going to put it up for you guys here. And then you can see Ja Morant putting up the L sign, like you lost and all of that. And people were reacting to it and all of that. And then he said, I don't like them and this and this and this and this and that. What are my thoughts on this? First off, I got to say this. If you are a Laker fan right now, talking about, Anthony Davis didn't play. It's like, yo, son, they could have probably lost with him. They just lost to the Pistons with AD. So what are you talking about? Y'all acting like y'all was missing Michael Jordan or somebody. Like, that's the first thing. The second thing, I don't want to hear nothing about Anthony Davis was missing because they were missing some key players too. And had the Lakers won that game, even with AD, and it was missing some players, y'all would have still been up there talking trash. Oh, AD, LeBron, Kang. You know how they be doing, twerking it up all over the place, knocking over drinks, pouring honey all over the desk, slapping each other, acting just a damn fool. You know how they act, right? What are my thoughts on this? First of all, as I was watching that game live, I got to say I love what Ja did because he brought the competitiveness to the game. None of that chummy, give me a hug, let's do 5,000 handshakes. None of that. We gonna talk trash. We not with them. They're the enemy. And we're out here to make fools out of them. And I like the fact that Ja Morant remembered when LeBron was gloating last time they played while he was on the sideline injured in street clothes. I like the fact that he he put that in his mental Rolodex and came back and tried to give him I like that. Like it makes the game more rugged. It makes it more entertaining. Instead of this, oh, give me a hug, give me a kiss, and all of this other nonsense that they be doing in the cupcake era. Like enough of that. So I love that part of it. To the Laker creators, there's this one clown ass creator on the internet. His dumb ass. He instead of reacting to the game, he gonna put up a picture of the MFer that didn't even play, Anthony Davis, and talk about when the Lakers losing. He like, oh, Anthony Davis wasn't there. He put Anthony Davis and JJ Redick with his clown ass instead of addressing the players that actually played on the court, knowing damn well that Anthony Davis is your best player. And I would have given the Lakers a better shot with AD without LeBron than vice versa. Because what we know is AD is the best player. We know that the Lakers play damn good, or dare I say better, without LeBron in the lineup. So I don't know what that's about. And as we currently sit here, the Lakers, who started off looking damn good, are now a 500 team. They are number 10 in the Western Conference. And this is the first time this season they've actually gone without a great player in Anthony Davis. But nevertheless, they were losing games with AD. And we're going to get to JJ Redick just a little bit later on today and react to some of the stuff that he had to say and his behavior, and his behavior post-game. Right? But I like what Ja did. Ja didn't forget. He said, this is a team that eliminated us. Now we're going to look at the box score. Let's see what happened last night. They put Dalton Knecht in the starting lineup. I like the idea of it. Didn't work out. He was 1 of 7, but he's a rookie. First time starting. You can understand that. LeBron had an efficient game. He scored 39 points on 54% shooting, 75% from the three, with 7 rebounds, 6 assists, but he did have 5 turnovers. Austin Reeves had 8 points. He had 19 points, excuse me. Jackson Hayes had 8 points. Who else? D'Angelo Russell had 12 points. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well, and I was watching the game. He missed a lot of threes. He went 2 of 9 from the three-point line. But the Memphis Grizzlies just had a balanced attack. You had Jaren Jackson Jr., who had 20 points. You had Jalen Wells, who had 20 points. You had Ja Morant, who got injured in the game. He had 20 points. He didn't shoot particularly well from the field. He was only 41% from the field. But they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in double figures to the Lakers. 1, 2, 3, 4 players in double figures. In terms of a free throw advantage, it was pretty even. Actually, the Memphis Grizzlies attempted more free throws. 3-pointers, the Lakers attempted 48 3-pointers, so they attempted a lot of threes. I think another thing worth paying attention to is that the Memphis Grizzlies played horribly. They turned over the ball. If I'm just looking at turnovers here, they had 18 turnovers to the Lakers 18. So overall, it wasn't a competitive game for the Lakers from the Lakers standpoint, and they ended up losing by 17 points, excuse me, in that game. So it is what it is. That's the box score, and the beat goes on. Literally, the beat downs. Coming into this season, all we were hearing was how great of a coach JJ Redick was going to be. You even had people on ESPN saying that the Lakers believe, get this, the Lakers believe that JJ Redick could be the next Pat Riley. The next a dude that hadn't coached anywhere at all. It was all based off of how he could talk the game on TV and maybe how the interviewing went. They were like, this guy is going to be the next Pat Riley. What they were essentially saying was JJ Redick was a brilliant basketball mind. Fantastic. The season started, and you could see that the Lakers look different with their ball movement, their activity on the offensive glass. Them now deciding to make Anthony Davis the focal point of their offense. So in the 7 years that Anthony Davis has been with the Lakers, this is the first time he's actually leading the team in shot attempts, which is an entirely different conversation. And he started off the season 3-0, and they were looking fantastically well. And I was one of the people saying on the comments and on the videos, I'm like, damn, JJ Redick looks like he's doing a hell of a job. But some of our viewers were like, bro, pump your brakes. This is fool's gold. Pump your brakes. Pump your brakes. And I decided to just have a cautious approach. Then the Lakers lost the first game. They went 3-1. Then they lost the second game. They went 3-2. Then they won the next game. I'm like, okay, you see. And then they dropped the next two. But before even dropping the next two, because as we currently speak, the Lakers have a 4-4 record. They're a 500 team. A 500 team sitting in the 10th spot in the Western Conference. I started noticing a very disturbing pattern on the internet from former and current NBA players. I started to notice that these guys were praising JJ Redick even when he was losing. They were talking about this guy's a great coach. I want to put up a thumbnail of a Gil's Arena video of a game where the Lakers lost to the Cavaliers, I think by like 15 plus points or something like that, or 14 or something. And on the thumbnail they say, or the text they say, signs that JJ Redick is proving that he's a hell of a basketball coach. And I'm like, what? And then yesterday I come across another clip from Paul George's podcast talking about how JJ Redick is this exceptional coach. And I'm like, but he's a coach with a 500 team. What are y'all talking about? So for those of you who didn't hear what they had to say on Gil's Arena and what Paul George and them are saying, I want to play it for you now and then want to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to these guys here.
JJ Redick has had an impressive start to his coaching career with the Los Angeles Lakers. As a basketball fan, personally, I love to see it. It was unbelievable, the criticism, that he was receiving. I think there was a lot of doubts, and I think JJ has over-delivered on expectations, and it's just been amazing to watch. Laker fans are super impressed with his coaching, the way he speaks to the players, the timeouts, out-of-bounds plays, even his post-game pressers talking about the basketballs. I can't believe we're using, new basketballs, which I do want to get your opinions on that. But what have your thoughts been on JJ's, start to the Lakers, and what were your expectations of him being a first-time coach for the franchise?
I think his start has been very impressive. I think he's like, that team has bought into him and they trust him and they believe in him. And I think that's one of the biggest things, especially when you have a mega star like LeBron and Anthony Davis on your side and those guys buy into you from jump. It says a lot about his presence there. I saw one of the videos of them doing like guards versus bigs.
That was
and
sick.
He matches up with Jackson Hayes. Like that is culture right there, bro. That's team bonding, and that's culture when your head coach is in the trenches and is fighting with you guys. Literally, when they matched up, they were going at it, and he gets the stop and the whole team, ignites. I love to see it. I think, again, he's awesome as a communicator. And he's a natural born leader. I think he's a Duke guy, so he's a hard worker. He's a team guy. And he knows the benefits from both of those, pillars. So I'm loving it. Funny thing is, I talked with JJ before him taking that job. We were in Dallas for games 3 and 4, and we chopped it up a little bit. And me knowing that it was, at that time he wasn't signed to the Lakers, but it was around the decision time. And, I got a chance to just tell him, good luck. I'm rooting for you. And, basically putting my belief that he'll do a great job. Just the conversation we had, like I was bought in with his basketball knowledge and just the way he analyzes the game on, TV, from him going toe to toe with Stephen A on certain topics and saying like, listen, you guys haven't done this. Like he's very good at confrontation, and you need a strong coach that's built for confrontation. So he's been very impressive, and I think he's going to make for a great coach for the Lakers.
Kenya, I know Lakers are not your favorite team, but when you watch, you don't tell us, but you support on the low. Do you like the accountability from J.J. Redick after the loss?
It's what he's supposed to say. It ain't on him. It's not. We talking about professionals here. Ain't nobody in the NBA got a problem shooting the basketball, bruh. Ball just didn't go in. Mm-hmm. That's all. You have quarters like that. It's good that he's stepping up for his guys, but it ain't. So let me ask, I want to ask him, so what plays could you have called to make the ball go in?
None.
I've never heard of one. Like you got a 100% play? Mm-hmm. Fuck run it every time then, goddamn it, if it's 100%. There ain't no guarantees in it. It just, I appreciate him for being his new coach and his first. So, yeah, cool. But
so as our producers have pointed out, in the previous regime, after a loss like this, Darvin Ham probably would have said something along the lines of, that's a hell of a ball club over there.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's a good-ass statement, too. Shit.
Is it?
To be honest.
We don't die by wins or losses.
Yeah, so hey.
Lexi, do you like the accountability from J.J. Redick?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the right answer to say. I don't particularly like when coaches throw their players under the bus in media. I don't think it's productive for, like, the locker room. So I think that's a good sign for JJ that as a former player, he knows that. He knows how to keep the locker room intact. But this was, like, a super winnable game for them, despite Bron not having a great game. But, like, that's a game that they absolutely could have and should have won. But, yeah, he mentions the scoring, and then he goes right to the defensive coverage. So, like, he knows that it wasn't his play calling that cost him the game. It was, KD and Book being such elite shot makers down the stretch. Yeah. And that's a defensive thing.
Yeah. So you heard what they had to say. I hate to say this, but then again, I don't. And we have a platform that we're going to be something pretty cool that we're launching next week where I can really get into my thoughts unfiltered and really say what I think without the constraints of, YouTube and others that you guys should be on the lookout for. But I want to say this. There's a lot of buck dancing going on with these dudes. A lot of y'all are buck dancing. A lot of y'all. You dudes are out here talking about, because y'all are essentially saying that J.J. Redick is smarter than Darvin Ham, period, point blank. Why you guys feel that way, that's your own. That's for you guys to reconcile personally. But they're saying that J.J. is a smarter man, coach, whatever, than Darvin Ham. All I know is that dumbass Darvin Ham, with his dumbass, and I'm being facetious, was dumb enough to get the Lakers to the Western Conference Finals in his first year. Dumb enough in his second year to help them win the championship banner that they had the audacity to even put in the rafters. And some of these dudes are out here twerking it up all over the place, knocking over drinks, pouring honey all over the table, slapping each other with honey all day long. Oh, we won the NCAA tournament. Oh, look it up. Let me get the honey out. He was good enough for that. He was also good enough to get the Lakers into the play. And the same jigaboos was out there talking, man, if minus the Nuggets, Lakers can beat anybody. Well, wasn't Darvin Ham the coach when you dudes was up there talking about they can? Wouldn't that mean that Darvin Ham will be good enough to coach his team to beat anybody outside of the Nuggets? Help me figure it out. So Darvin Ham was good enough to do that, dumb enough to do that. But here we got smart ass J.J. Redick sitting there with a 4-4 record, and nobody is saying anything. Nobody. We got all these buck dancing creators all over the internet twerking it up, hollering, screaming about this player, that player, that player. Nobody talking about JJ Redick. But when it was Darvin Ham, you dudes went ham on him. And it reminds me, I got to say it because I this is what I believe, and I'm going to keep it fun. I'm going to say what I believe, 100%. And whoever feel a type of way, but at least y'all going to know dude is being honest with what he feels. This reminds me of an experience I had in Lagos, Nigeria. I went to a restaurant called Eric Kaser. Nice restaurant run by Lebanese guys. And I'm there and I'm trying to make an order. This is over a year or two ago, 2 years ago at least. And I'm sitting there and the waiters are just walking around like they don't see me. Let me repeat. I'm in Lagos, Nigeria, which means it's a country full of black people. The waiters are acting like they don't see me. And I'm sitting there like, why don't they take my order? Why am I like sitting here trying to raise my hand and all that? Then a group of white people walk in and the waiters it's like they almost tripped over themselves to run over to them. They almost tripped over themselves running over to them. Why? Because they perceive they have money and whatever inferiority complex they had in them. So the guy now came to me and I said to him, I said, something is wrong with you guys. I've been sitting here. But the minute you saw these people, you started running over them. Running over each other to go serve them. But I'm sitting here. But you guys are running over to them. I said there are more black people in this restaurant that got more money than them. Hope you know. And they're like, oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. What you saw was their mentality. I don't understand why they're giving JJ Redick this benefit of the doubt that they didn't give Darvin Ham. Where were all of these NBA players talking about, man, Darvin Ham is smart. Darvin Ham is smart. Matter of fact, when he got fired, where were these NBA players? Man, but he was good enough. I mean, they got to the Western Conference Final, But when it comes to JJ Redick, all you hear out of them is, man, he's a brilliant mind. He's so smart. The way he communicates, the way he speaks. And given the fact that he's a former player, he can understand them at a molecular level. Darvin Ham was a former player. But that doesn't matter because we got to buck it up. I'm calling you guys out. It'll be the same dudes running around talking about black power. I'm talking to you guys. Y'all are not keeping it funky. You're not keeping the same energy. You're not. And I'm going to say it. You're not doing it. Why are we giving JJ Redick this benefit of the doubt that we didn't give to Darvin Ham? Explain it to me. Explain it. Explain it. All I know is for all of that talking and twerking and hollering y'all been doing, son got a 500 record. That's all I know. And JJ is going to get away with a whole bunch of other stuff that Darvin Ham would never dream of doing. And you dudes will say nothing. He just stormed out of a press conference 8 games in. Do you think Darvin Ham would have been able to get away with it in his introductory press conference with the Lakers cursing? I don't give a F about that. Do you think he would have been able to get, it would have been you same buck dancing dudes. Man, he must think he's somebody. We better go show him. Who does his black ass think he is talking like that? Don't you know he with the Lakers? But when JJ said it, y'all had no problem with it. And now you got players so, man, I think he's smart as hell. What about JJ Redick makes you think he's smart as hell? Huh? Who's the smartest guy in the classroom? The guy that talks the stuff the best or the guy with the best scores? You guys are enamored with language. Oh, man, he's so articulate. So articulate. Why are you so impressed with articulation skills? His oration skills. He's a great orator. He can talk us into a 60-win record. All that great speaking and smarts got the Lakers sitting at a 500 team. And every day we got to hear NBA, but man, he's a brilliant mind. But Darvin Ham, I heard none of you dudes say that, which means that there is something inherently in you that views yourself is lower than white. I'm sorry. I said it. I said it. Kobe didn't have that inferiority complex as some of y'all do. Kobe didn't have it. Kobe wasn't enamored with JJ Redick. You dudes are. What is all of this twerking and honey slapping I'm looking at here? Ain't y'all had enough? Ain't the honey run out yet? So I'm saying it. I don't see it. To me, to prove that JJ Redick is a good coach, I'm going to look at his record. And I got to say it because you dudes are running and hiding. They got the nerve to put up a thumbnail, a picture of the Lakers getting blown out by 14 points. Talking about, man, we're seeing signs that JJ Redick is a Hall of Fame. And I'm done with it. Lakers in trouble. The Lakers are in trouble. And not only are the Lakers in trouble, JJ Redick is in a mess right now. Starting this season, matter of fact, forget about starting this season. Going into this season, JJ Redick was being heralded as the next Pat Riley. When the Lakers started the season, they started 3-0. I was one of the people that said, man, these boys look pretty damn good. People in the comment section, on the community section, were like, give it time. Give it time. The Lakers are who we think they are. And I'm like, they look very, very good. JJ Redick making a fool out of us. Why? Because I was being honest about what I was seeing. I was being honest about it. And JJ, I said a few things, which was this. I said if JJ came from TV and brought that personality in terms of his behavior and his temperament as a TV personality or NBA analyst and brought that to the coaching position, he's going to be in trouble. Because you cannot have that type of short fuse as an NBA coach, especially when you're dealing with the media. So what happened? Yesterday, the Lakers go into Memphis. Memphis that was without Marcus Smart, that was without Desmond Baines. The Lakers were without Anthony Davis. And the Lakers went out there and proceeded to get blown off the court by 17 points to fall to a 4-4 record and number 10 in the Western Conference. At the end of the post game, the media approached JJ Redick to get a sense of what happened in the game. And as he's speaking to the reporters at the very end, the reporter asked him a question, and JJ Redick says, I've already answered that, and stormed out. So what we want to do is we actually want to show you the still of him storming out as you listen to what he had to say, and then we're going to continue on with the show. Take a listen to JJ Redick here.
You're missing a couple starters, so maybe it's a hard game to judge, but how do you kind of look at the 5 games in totality?
It goes into choices. It goes back to choices. I think something that we've discussed as a group, and you have a choice every night for how you play, and it has nothing to do with making shots. There's got to be a group of people, 7, 8 guys, that make that choice, and we're a really good basketball team. If we have a handful, if we have 2 or 3, we're not going to be a good basketball team that night. So that's just the reality. That's my biggest takeaway, to be honest.
JJ, from a shooting standpoint, it seemed like guys were, like you mentioned Gabe, just looking for any sign of like a level of heat. D'Lo, a couple after misses, like hands over his head. Like, you've been in this situation before. What's it like when you just cannot catch that? Like, big part of shooting is obviously making shots, but handling misses and stuff like that too. What are you seeing with your guys right now as they're going through a little bit of a cold spell?
I can't speak to them. I can't put myself in their brains. I don't think there's ever been a basketball player that stepped on a floor and said, "Man, I really hope I miss all my shots tonight," or "I hope I struggle shooting." You know, it's tough. It's tough to go through it. It's tough to have a bad shooting night, and then that can, when it starts compounding, that can really start to weigh on you. I had some mental things that I would try to get myself out of it. But again, just speaking to me, there's times when you're in that and it's like, man, I'm never gonna make another shot again. That those thoughts come into your brain. You have to have the sort of the mental toughness to just keep shooting and have the belief. I always, I've told a number of players that I played with when I got older, I was like, I 8 for 12. It's going to regress towards the positive at some point. I'm going to have an 8 for 12 night, and generally I did.
JJ, you're talking a lot about 2 or 3 guys, getting them to put in the effort. You talked a lot about wanting to play hard and LeBron being the guy that played hard in tonight's game. How do you address that with the team? What's your philosophy for approaching that?
I just did.
So you heard what JJ Redick had to say. This ain't going to work. This is not going to work. This behavior is not going to work for long. 8 games in and you're already storming out of locker rooms. 8 games in and you're already, storming out of press conference rooms or whatever from interviews. That cannot be the answer. I know you're pissed, but trust and believe, I think every coach in the NBA that loses a game, I think they're pissed too. I think they all go through the same emotions. I don't think JJ's emotions are any different or should be felt stronger than the way we feel about all the other guys. That's the first thing. The second thing is this. JJ wanted this job. Why JJ Redick wanted this job, I don't know. Why anybody would want this job, I don't know. I really don't know. Dan Hurley was supposedly interested in it, but he was like, well, if y'all want me to take this job, y'all gonna have to pay me. Y'all gonna have to pay me, because the thing of I'm coaching the Lakers don't mean that much when you think about all of the downsides that come with the Lakers. When you think about the downsides, let me at least make it worth my while. And Dan Hurley probably said to himself, if they give me a 3-4 year contract, I know most likely I probably won't make it through the contract, not with this group. So at least let me get paid for the stress from moving my entire family from the East Coast all the way to the West. Let me at least get paid for it, because I know my image is going to be tarnished for damn sure. But JJ wanted this job. The question is, what did you expect? These guys are who they are. Now, I thought that they were going to be different. We've been hearing people say he's breaking through to the players and all that. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But storming out of the press conference, really? This is just a regular season game. What happens in a playoff game? What happens in a playoff game? And when it comes time for the rubber to hit the road, is JJ Redick going to have the courage to call out the players that need to be called out, which are the stars, the Anthony Davises, the LeBron Jameses? Is he going to have it in to call them out when they lollygagging on the court, when LeBron ain't running back on defense and all of that other stuff? And another thing I think JJ Redick has grown tired of this entire Bronny story. You notice he ain't even playing him no more. I don't know. I don't think he played him last night. Let me see. Did he play Bronny James? Oh, he played him 4 minutes. I was wrong. He played him 4 minutes in the game. I think this is gonna wear thin on JJ after a while. I think after a while, JJ's gonna be like, you know what? I'm tired of all of this stupidity and foolishness. I don't want to be a part of the Bronny circle, although he tried to endorse it to be, oh no, this is all Bronny did all his merits and did all the merits and all that other stuff. But now you're already losing it and boiling over and reacting like that so early. Then it's going to be a long, long year if this is where we are at this juncture in the season. It's going to be a bloody long season. And if I look at the Lakers' schedule moving forward, let's look at the Lakers' schedule moving forward, because they're coming off of a 5-game road trip, bearing in mind they started the season with their first 3 games at home. They've already played on the road. They played the Memphis Grizzlies. They've played they played the Memphis Grizzlies. They've played the Toronto Raptors. They've played the Detroit Pistons. They're now going to play I believe they're going to play the Toronto Raptors again. Okay, they're going to play the Toronto Raptors again. So to me, it's only going to get harder. And the NBA gave y'all an early stimulus package to start off your season with the first 3 games on the road. So you already had that in as your advantage. They already had that. And to be fair to the Lakers, they made the most out of it. They won the games that they were supposed to win. After they got that stimulus package to start off the season, they did that. But they're going to be playing Toronto next. And last night, when you see that the Lakers don't have a free throw advantage like they normally do on most nights, it ain't really close. Because for the majority of this season, they've had a free throw advantage. The next game they're going to be playing, is the Philadelphia 76ers. They just got Paul George back. And I think the Lakers are going to lose that game. Then they're going to play the Raptors. They may win that game. Then you got Memphis again. I think they're going to lose that game. Then you have, or I could be wrong, but they might lose that game. Then you have the Spurs, who aren't, still young. And then you have the Pelicans. The Lakers aren't really playing anybody yet. They're playing the Jazz. They're playing the Magic. Then they start playing better teams at a certain point. You have a stretch when you're going to be playing against the Nuggets, the Suns, the Thunder, the Wolves. Are we going to see this if you start losing then? JJ Redick better get it together, man.